Chineke nna nke pụrụ ihe niile, anyị kwere gị nkwa sị na nke ọjọọ ma anyị kelee gị, nke ọma ma anyị kelee gị. Na ndụ ndị a niile ejiwe na-achụrụ gị aja, onye nwe m, n'oge erule mgbe ị ga-emejupụta nkwa nke ikwere ndị gị. N'oge ahụ bụ ugbu a, n'ihi na ị gbara anyị aka ama oge gara aga, tupu ụmụ mmadụ wee si n'isi ha nọ wee hụ ụzọ, tupu ndị nọrọ na wee konie, iziri anyị ozi na mmụọ si anyị n'oge ga-abịa mgbe ndị Fulani ga-abata ala nsọ gị, na ha ga-ememili ụmụ mmadụ, na ha ga-egbu ndị mmadụ. Mgbe na-ebe akwa wee na-eti mkpu n'ime nrọ mgbe m na-akpọkwu aha nsọ gị, nsị gị onye dị nsọ ma ruo mgbe ebighị bụ gịnị ka anyị ga-eme? Ụmụ okwu nke gwara m, nke m ziri ndị dị ndụ nna nke bere dị ngọzi, sị na ha ga-egbu anyị, anyị onwe anyị ga-egbukwa ha ikpeta m azụ, na anyị ga-enwe nwere onwe. Ọ bụ ihe anyị na-arịọ gị eze ebube dị ngọzi, n'ihi na anyị agaghị ahapụ gị wee fee arụsị ma ọ bụ fee nghọta nke mmadụ dị ndụ. Ọ bụ ya mere anyị n'ala nsọ gị eze ebube dị ngọzi ka anyị nwe arọ Chukwu ndị nsọ. Ọ bụ n'ala nsọ gị ka enwe ndị a na-akpọ ụmụ Chukwu. Ọ bụ n'ala nsọ gị ka enwe ndị a na-akpọ ụmụ ala igwe, the children of the kingdom of heaven in Enugu State. Enwe ebe a na-akpọ ụmụ ala igwe, the children of the kingdom of heaven, a name that came before white people even brought their Bible to us. We answer Umuchukwu, we answer Obasi, we answer Tamono. These are your names, but these are also the names that we bear to say that the time has come for you to come down from heaven, that thy will upon the lives of your children may be done in our lifetime. And that time has come, and it is Biafra. Because you told me that they will invade our land, and that invasion has commenced. They have come, as you promised me. So in the coming weeks and months, men and women are going to die. But after that, Biafra shall be restored. We want to be alive in the land of the living to give your name praise, adoration, adulation, exaltation, and glory. Because Biafra is yours, now and forevermore, we pray. He said. Very many years ago, I told you something that has come to light this very day. That in time to come, that the Janjaweed will come into our land. And they have come. The funniest thing is that they did not just come into our land, they are also in Yoruba land as we speak. Fulani Caliphate is in charge of everybody right now in the zoo as we speak. But what troubles me is that they have managed to get into the minds of the people. Not into the minds of IPOB, of course, heaven forbid. They have now managed to get into the minds of the people. And that is why they are able to wreak havoc. And I want everybody, those of you from the middle belt, those of you from the south, those of you who are still in support of one Nigeria, I want you to understand what is to come as a result of your foolishness and your stupidity. Eastern Security Network is on record as being the only people to drive away Miyetti Allah from any state in the entire Nigeria. We drove Miyetti Allah away from Ebonyi State after 4 years of war. 4 good years of war, they ran away from Ebonyi State. That is why they have now gone to go and bring in their big guns, their big brothers. They were going to face them and we shall defeat them. You see, I told you before that there is a method to our madness. We proceed very, very gingerly and cautiously, trying to take our people with us every step of the way, but above all, their understanding of the very perilous times that we're living in. These are the things you must calm down to educate yourself, because sometimes our people are always in a hurry. They're always in a hurry. In the process, they fail to factor in every variable that will enable them, or that should enable them to understand the tactics of the enemy. Most of you don't understand the way the Fulanis operate the we do. That is why we have been able to predict every of their move. All the Fulefus talking about one Nigeria is now very clear to all of you. that the Fulanis do not mean well. Not for us who are fighting them, neither for you who are their slaves.
If you're from the south, I want you to listen very carefully. If you're Biafra, if you do the right, even from Kanu belt, the question you must ask yourself tonight as a Biafran, as a Southerner is, do you want to be a slave to the Fulani Caliphate, or do you want to die on your feet? Live for 1,000 years on your knees, as most of them are doing without even knowing it, or you die on your feet. The devil's alternative. Whichever option we choose, men are going to die. Which one do you prefer? Are we going to fight and die like men, or are we going to submit to a life of Allahu Akbar? It's entirely up to you. The time is now, because the enemies, they have come. I didn't say they are coming, they have not come into our land. And as I promised them, if God is on our side, which I know He is on our side, this army of Nigeria will die in Biafra land. That is how God intended it to happen. Many of us are going to die, and I'm believing it myself, mind you. Many of us are going to die, but Biafra is going to come, and everything called Nigeria will perish in Biafra land. The world must be prepared for what is to come. We are not going to be slaves in our land. I want to let Captain Align, the UK government, to understand this. That we have chosen the path of death than to submit to the will of the Fulani Caliphate. Death is better for us. People are dying every day. They're not human beings. People are dying every day. Are we better than them? Those who are dying, are we better than them? We must develop the mindset of the Afghans. Let anybody say I did not warn them. We must make our land impregnable for them, and that will involve a lot of destruction. I'm saying it live on air so that all of you will understand. To slow the advance down, we need to destroy a lot of things. We must destroy a lot of things. That is how all of you will come to your senses to understand that we are in a state of war. From next 2 weeks, we are going to start dying for what we believe in. Not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. We are going to die en masse, and we are going to take them with us. By the time the slaughter happens, it will be so intense that you see that CNN, they will come together to cover this very war. That is about to happen. You see CNN, all of them running away from Biafra, they will cover it by force, because we are going to kill every Nigerian soldier on Biafran soil will die. God is my witness, and I will lead this very army myself. I want the UK to understand that we have chosen to die than be slaves. At the end of this newly declared war against Biafrans, many of us will perish, but out of these very ruins, Biafra is going to rise up again to the eternal glory of Chukwuka in heaven. I want them to understand. Let me not be tomorrow. People say, oh, but the suicide bombing is not part of our nature. It's not our life. It's not our culture. Now, the Fulani are there. We are going to die with them. We are Biafrans. What we do in life echo in history, as they sing. What you achieve in life will echo, because it's appointed unto man to die only but once. Fulani brought war to our land. All we asked them to do was to leave our forest and go and live in the township, rent a house and live in the town, bring down your nama, sell it, and do whatever you want to do with it. You cannot stay in our forest. You cannot stay there. If you stay there, you will die. That is the only crime that Eastern Security Network committed. Nobody can tell us today if their mosque has been bombed by ESN or any church or any village or nothing. So these people you are calling terrorists, what is their crime? Because they said that we cannot take over their land. That is the crime of ESN and IPOB by extension. As I told you a few weeks ago, the Janjaweed have opened the floodgates of hell. And unto thy hands, O Elohim, we commit our spirit. As they will say in one very popular movie, those of us who are about to die, we salute you. Because the land of Biafra will be defended with the blood of anything that moves. Rather than the Fulani to take over Biafra land, there will be no living organism in that very place. I am warning every traditional ruler, every governor, every senator to understand what I'm saying this night and take it on board. And do not quote me out of context. If you want to be a Fulani slave, go to the middle belt and join them there, or you can be slaves to one Nigeria. That's your business. You see the land of Biafra, we cannot surrender to anyone. If you want to know how Britain ran away from Israel, go and read the book. Just Google it and say, how was it possible that the state of Israel was established despite hostilities from everywhere, surrounded by enemies? But they still succeeded because they blew them out of Palestine, or they call it Palestine, which was a name just as they're calling us now Southeast. They don't want to call us our name Biafra. After the Romans took over the Holy Land, they named it Palestine because they said that the Jews were too stubborn. They raised the name Israel and called the place Palestine. That's what they do. Because when somebody wants to completely overwhelm you, they change your identity for you. And if you're a very stupid black person, as most of us are, of course, in Africa, you swallow your new name, hook, line, and sinker. Every road leading into Biafra land will be mined. Everything that is Nigerian, whatever police or army that steps on our road will blow to the kingdom come. Very neat and simple. And I will like a cowboy and a Rambo. We don't need that rubbish. We destroy everything destroyable. We need to first that I said before, when we drive away with Fulani terrorists, we need to allow from our bushes, they will bring in their army. We will kill their army, they will start throwing bombs from the air. After that, they will leave us alone. I'm telling you, you mark my words, that's how it's going to happen. When I told you that we will defeat Yetiala, did you believe me? When I said we will drive away Yetiala from our land, did you believe me? We did it without the help of any governor, no politician, nobody. This great family, this IPOB, Chineke Gozun, Ndioma, Chineke. We are dying, isn't it? At least we are dying for what we... How about those being killed by Fulani Janjaweed in the Middle Belt? They died for nothing. They're not fighting for anything. They're not fighting for independence. They're just in the farm and they're killed. For you to die in the cause of defending your country, your nation, is the greatest calling anyone can have in this life. You must understand that. From today, we must stop lamenting on social media and engage ourselves in activities that will slow down the enemy. We know where they're coming from, always from three sides. They'll try to come from Kogi, they will come from Ebonyi, they'll come from Enugu, only three sides they can come from. Only, nothing else. We slow them down. We destroy everything destroyable to slow them down so we can kill them. They're not trained in war because they're not patriotic. These are terrorists. What inspires them is some stupid quote in the Quran. What inspires us is the gift that God gave to us. That this land of Biafra is ours. In perpetuity. No one can take it from us. No idiot can. We are in a state of war. Every scientist, everybody must come out now to begin to prepare. We are going to dig our trenches. We are going to amass everything that we have built so far to prepare to repel the invaders. Every DSS office that we know of, every army cantonment or barracks that we know of, will be placed under surveillance, and we must begin to deal with them as we lay our hands on them.
Barrister Aloy Ejimako. Thank you for your time with us today.
It's my pleasure having you.
Make I just start by asking this question. You don't see Nnamdi Kanu?
Yes, I met him yesterday for almost 3 hours at the headquarters of the DSS in Abuja. And we had quite an interaction, private interaction initially, and later on he was interviewed by 3 DSS officers in my presence. I wanted to call it an interrogation, but they said no, it's an interview, during which they asked him routine questions, but most of the questions centered on his being the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and the activities of that organization. So he answered the questions in a relaxed atmosphere, with bearing in mind his constitutional rights not to incriminate himself. Of course, some of the questions had background information that he considered incomplete, and he told the officers that he was not able to answer some of those questions because the information that they supplied to him was incomplete.
If you describe to us when you see Nnamdi Kanu, how he be, what is in state of mind?
Well, his state of mind wasn't as sound as it should be. You know, if you listen to his broadcast, you would know that he's a historian. But when I was talking with him, he had trouble recalling the actual date he was abducted. It surprised me. So to jog his memory, I asked him how many nights he spent in Abuja before he was brought to court. He told me 2 nights. So he was brought to court on Tuesday, the 29th June. So we figured he must have been brought into the country on Sunday, the 27th. So when I mentioned that date, he said, sure, that's the date. But I took particular note of that. I also noticed that he had a visible injury on his right wrist. I asked him what it was. He said it was where they had chained him, put the chain on him, and chained him to the concrete floor in Nairobi, Kenya. And he has disappearing injury on the left wrist and an injury right here at the nape of the neck. He appears like somebody who has been mentally traumatized, you know, so he's unwilling to talk about 1 or 2 things until you prompt him. Like when I prompted him about the date, that's the conclusion I drew. How many nights he spent in Abuja? No, he's not. He's traumatized.
Let's talk about the trial where they begin again on the 26th of July. How prepared Nnamdi for that trial?
Well, we are, but there's not going to be any trial. There's going to be trial within trial. What happened to Nnamdi Kanu is, by legal definition, worldwide legal definition, what is called extraordinary rendition. It's a state crime. It's a crime by the state. If a private individual abducts or violently and illegally seizes another individual, it's called kidnapping, and is a very, in some jurisdictions, is a capital offense. When state does it, it's called extraordinary rendition. That's what happened. So if you rendered or you renditioned a fugitive or a suspect, you have lost jurisdiction to try that suspect because he committed an international crime. You broke your own laws. You broke the laws of the third state from which territory you renditioned that individual, and you broke the laws of the second state of nationality of that individual. That is what is playing out here, because we have 3 divergent but also compliant jurisdictions. The 3 jurisdictions here, Nigeria, Kenya, and UK, their laws prohibit extraordinary rendition.
Okay, so they've been, calls don't come from different quarters, from different groups. Say the federal government must handle this case on the fairness, that the trial must happen, Nnamdi Kanu trial must happen on the fairness. Does this make you optimistic?
Fair trial?
That Nnamdi Kanu must have a fair trial?
You see, it's an oxymoron. It's a contradiction to say that a jurisdiction that broke the laws of 3 countries and the international law, that's the 4th component, to bring a suspect before that jurisdiction should be expected to give fair trial to such individual. But like I said, we haven't even gotten to that bridge yet. When we get to the bridge of whether he's going to get fair trial or not, we are going to ventilate it. The bridge we have to cross first is the bridge of testing the impact of the jurisdiction of Nigeria to try Nnamdi Kanu for any criminal offenses stemming from the extraordinary rendition.
You don't know what it means. Most of us do not understand what it means to be a Biafran. You have not seen anything yet. I was kidnapped. I was beaten. I was spat at. My clothes were ripped from my body. Women urinated and poured it on me because of Biafra, so that they may humiliate me to such a point that I will not talk about Biafra anymore. They videoed me. Masop has a video of me where they were beating me, dragging me on the floor, tearing my clothes because I spoke the truth. That did not stop me from talking about Biafra. It did not stop me from taking Radio Biafra to Enugu. It did not stop me from broadcasting Radio Biafra from Nnewi. It did not stop me from broadcasting Radio Biafra from Onitsha, from Owerri, from Aba, from Port Harcourt. I am resolute. I don't retreat. Never. Nigeria has put me in detention before. Solitary confinement. It did not stop me from preaching Biafra. How about an imbecile somewhere talking? How can that affect me? If those that kidnapped me and nearly killed me did not stop me from doing Biafra, how about an imbecile hiding somewhere? People must know who I am. I am destructively stubborn. You see, Biafra is going to come.
Oh, it's all.
Zok mwen mi of mwen pa. Walwa. Yo yori wale baro rere. Eastern region bo. So on bo. Bayasa bo.
Sicut in cielo et in terra
Eastern Security Network. Anambra State Command on patrol.
Under Aga command. It's an Eastern Security Network. Yes, the men are ready. They are ready. They are going to win. It's an Eastern Security Network. The men are ready. They are ready. They are ready. Yes, the land is